God has not forsaken you, God has not abandoned you, and your enemies have not actually won. God is taking his time to give you the best of his best. God does not do his best things in a hurry. He takes his time to do his best things. Nobody is believing you. Nobody knows you're telling the truth. Nobody is hearing your own side of the story. Everybody is just against you. The reason why it seems as if God is taking his time is because he's taking his time to give you a miracle, to give you a compensation that is going to wipe away every single narrative that was given about you that's actually wrong. When he wants to do it, he will do it in a way that you don't need to explain your miracle. You don't need to explain how everything happened. The miracle will be so evident that you don't need to explain anything to anybody. There's a situation about your life that people are using to mock you at this particular point in time, and you'll be asking God to show, but nothing is happening. If you are that person, then this message is for you. There's something I need you to understand. In some cases, God does not respond immediately. Even though you want him to respond immediately and shame all your enemies and just do one mighty miracle in your life so that people will get to see that God have got your back. But the reason why God has been keeping quiet over that issue is not because he hates you. It's not because he's not hearing that prayer. It's actually because sometimes he allows the enemies to think they have actually won before he shows up. Now, I'm going to give you a very vivid example. Take a look at the life of Joseph in the Bible. When he told his siblings that he had a dream where he saw them bowing down to him, in the sense that he will rule over them, his brothers hated him for that particular dream. They wanted to eliminate him by all means. They humiliated him, they did all manner of things to him because they didn't want that dream to come to pass, because they didn't want that particular prophecy about his life to come to pass. So, one of the things they did was to sell him off. When they actually sold Joseph off to the people of Egyptians, they came home, they relaxed, they felt at home, they told the father a lie that Joseph has been killed and all of that. Joseph got to the land of Egypt, and in the house of Potiphar, he yet entered into another trouble, which was the wife of Potiphar. Now, when the wife of Potiphar wanted him to sleep with her, and Joseph declined. Out of shame, she went to go and tell her husband lies about Joseph, told the husband that Joseph tried to force himself on her. Meanwhile, she was the person that actually did that. Joseph begged, Joseph cried, Joseph prayed to God, and nothing happened. Potiphar closed his ears to Joseph's plea and threw Joseph into prison. At that particular point in time, Potiphar's wife actually felt that she has actually won the battle. She felt that she had arrived. Since Joseph had been thrown into prison, no amount of plea that Joseph pleaded with Potiphar made him change his mind. Maybe that's exactly the situation right now in your life. Nobody is believing you. Nobody knows you're telling the truth. Nobody is hearing your own side of the story. Everybody is just against you. And at this particular point in time, it feels as if all of them have won. Mind you, but that was the same way that Potiphar's wife felt. Joseph stayed in prison for 2 years, which is actually very, very long. For someone who did not do anything to stay in prison for 2 years, it was actually very, very long. Maybe that's exactly how your own situation is now. You've given God a specific period of time that you actually want God to show up for that situation and prove to your enemy that you're innocent or that something good can actually come out of you. And staying for that long is actually the hardest aspect, because it seems as if they are mocking not just you, not just your situation, but also God in your life. But here is something that I need you to also look at in the life of Joseph. After 2 whole years, when Potiphar's wife felt that she have won, when they have forgotten about everything, when nobody was remembering Joseph again, God showed up. That was the time that God showed up. All of a sudden, one night, Pharaoh had a dream, and there was nobody else in the land of Egypt that could interpret that dream, exception of Joseph. So when they brought Joseph, Joseph interpreted that dream, and after interpreting that dream, Pharaoh said, there is no any other person in this kingdom that can actually do and adhere to all the instructions you have given us. It simply means that you are the only one that has what it takes to actually execute these plans. And that was how Joseph became the prime minister of the land of Egypt. At this point, Joseph is going to be ruling over Potiphar's wife. Now, just imagine how Potiphar's wife and Potiphar himself would feel when they realized that Joseph became the prime minister of Egypt. I don't care how long your own suffering has actually lasted, but this is one thing I need you to take away with this. When you want to do it, you do it in a way that you don't need to explain your miracle. You don't need to explain how everything happened. The miracle will be so evident that you don't need to explain anything to anybody. That miracle will be the one speaking for you, correcting all the wrong narratives that they had about you. Because how can somebody who forces himself on another person's wife actually get to become a prime minister. So just in becoming a prime minister must have changed all the narrative that Potiphar had about Joseph. So the reason why it seems as if God is taking his time is because he's taking his time to give you a miracle, to give you a compensation that is going to wipe away every single narrative that was given about you that's actually wrong. God does not do his best things in a hurry. He takes his time to do his best things, so that when that thing is actually doing comes on, it is going to give glory to his name. It's going to wipe all your shame. There is a kind of miracle that God is prepared. When it comes, it wipes all your shame. When Joseph actually came out of prison and became a prime minister, he didn't remember even one thing about all the sufferings they had in the past. And you know what? Later on, his brothers who sold him and felt that they have won, they later came to bow down to Joseph. So that is the same way it is going to be. When God finally shows up for that situation, when God is finally ready, when he's done cooking the best of his best for you, it is going to come in such a way that your miracle, your testimony is going to be the evidence that is going to wipe away everything that has been said about you. Maybe if that miracle comes now, you will still need to explain it to them. Maybe if that breakthrough comes now, you still need to explain it to them. They will still need to attack some negative stuffs to that particular miracle and breakthrough. So that's why God is taking his time to give you a breakthrough that you will not need to explain. When they see it, that alone will wipe all the narrative they had about you, and they will be the one having a test of all the shame that they have actually put you through. So, my dear, listening to this, I don't know how long it has taken. I don't know how long the situation has taken. I don't know how bad the situation is. But one thing I can assure you is that this is not the end. Honestly, God has not forsaken you. God has not abandoned you, and your enemies have not actually won. God is taking his time to give you the best of his best. And at appointed time, he is going to make all things beautiful. So if this video resonated with you, if this video spoke to you, don't forget to share it with someone out there who might just need to listen to this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.